Well, hello there. So, this is not in the right order. We don't know why, but for some reason, for many a year, our Gail Kim interview just ended up somewhere. We don't know where it went. It wasn't on our list. It wasn't there. There's nothing wrong with the interview. In fact, it's a good one. But it wasn't there. So, we are placing it here at the beginning of the Blaze days because we have no idea where the hell it really should be. You'll probably also notice that the Queen of Extreme, Francine, is our co-host, call-in co-host on the radio show. So I hope you enjoy this broadcast. What we're going to do is we're going to put every interview first, and then we're going to play the broadcasts from the Blaze, 1260 a.m. afterwards. Hope you guys enjoy from the Wrestling Epicenter. You're listening to Interactive Wrestling Radio, featuring the interactive interview, courtesy of WrestlingEpicenter.com.
Welcome back to the Blaze, 1260 a.m. And joining us now, it's our pleasure to introduce Gail Kim, the current TNA Knockout, I believe they're called. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Awesome. It's a little bit changed from a diva, but, a knockout's still good, right?
I kind of like it better because diva sounds a little spoiled.
A little spoiled, right? You're a little less spoiled now over there in TNA.
Yes, much more easygoing.
Well, I kind of want to go in chronological order here, so I want to talk a little bit about the WWE and kind of work our way up to your current stint in TNA, if that's all right with you.
Okay, definitely.
So obviously on June 30th, you debuted at a Monday Night Raw taping in a 7-Diva Battle Royal. You immediately right out of the chute won the title. Do you feel like that put a lot of pressure on you for for your first debut in WWE? Would you rather had a little bit more time to maybe get some matches, let the fans kind of adjust to you a little bit?
Oh, definitely. I mean, 100%. I am so grateful for that opportunity. I would never take that away now. But I think at that time, just being new to the company is already overwhelming enough. And for that to happen, it was just such a blur, and it was just happened so fast. And I think, I've said this many times before, where you start off at the top, there's really nowhere else to go but down. And definitely, the fans never got to know me, so they're just like, okay, some people who are hardcore wrestling fans knew that I was coming and knew I came from the independents, but on a whole, generally, people didn't know who I was,
Right.
know? So, yeah, it was a lot of pressure. I mean, I didn't feel it at that time, but looking back, I mean, yes, I did feel the pressure.
Was there any resentment from the divas that were currently in the company that you came in right off the chute and got the belt?
Sorry, was there any
Resentment.
Not to my face, anyways. I mean, everyone was super nice to me. I've always gotten along with all the girls, so I mean, I'm sure someone new coming in, and yeah, they probably felt like I never earned that spot, but they understand that it wasn't my decision too. I'm sure they're going to put the blame on me. Yeah. So.
Well, obviously, like a little bit less than a month later, the title was taken off you and given to Molly Holly. Kind of going back to what we asked earlier, isn't that really not enough time for someone to really have, the adequate ability to, get in with the fans, let them know about your character? You kind of debuted with this kind of Matrix character, kind of just got dropped off. I mean, what actually really happened with all that?
Well, you know what? It's just, with that whole time there, I can honestly say that I never felt, and I think the fans were just getting to know me really when I left, to be honest.
Right.
And when I came back from my collarbone injury is when I started doing the submission type gimmick, and everyone, positive feedback from the fans, they loved that, and I think people were really starting to recognize me then, and I never really got a chance to actually speak on TV all that much too. They never gave me that opportunity, and that's a lot of, that's a way to express yourself to the fans, otherwise they're not going to get to know how you are, and
right.
the personality you have, and so I never felt entirely comfortable there until the end of my time there, and it's just unfortunate that, everything's a learning experience, and I've definitely taken that with me. So.
Right. During your time at the WWE, it was kind of like, I guess the way that I recall it was almost like a gold mine, if you will, of like female talent yourself. Trish Stratus was there, Victoria was there, Molly Holly was there, Ivory was there, a veritable who's who. And then all of a sudden it seemed like, within a course of 2 weeks, everybody was gone. Did you guys foresee that coming, or was it just kind of like a shock to everybody?
I think that was a shock to everyone. I didn't foresee it at all because I got released. Okay, I went to Monday Night Raw, and I think I got released on the Tuesday or Wednesday right after that. And if you recall, my last thing was a run-in with Trish and Lita, and we were starting a storyline. So they just basically dropped that with no explanation. I was even on the highlights the next week, including that run-in, and they just dropped it. I mean, they had no explanation, which they do a lot. So we didn't see it coming. When I got released, they just told me that they wanted to go in a different direction with the women, and they obviously did. Because I mean, they've been wrestling a little bit more often, I believe. I heard, and I still talk to Victoria, and she'll tell me what's going on, and so I don't know whether they're trying to get the women's wrestling going again, but I don't think that they want it to be at the caliber that it was before.
Let's be honest. You kind of got to feel in a little bit of a way that you might be a little bit better off being with TNA. They have some talented women that they're looking at. And, I mean, you look at these diva matches now on Raw. I mean, not to be negative or anything, but it's kind of a cluster. You're dealing with people that really don't know how to work.
Right, definitely. And, I'm not blaming any of the, for example, Ashley, the new diva winner. I heard she's a super nice girl, and, it's not her fault that they're going to go and throw her into a match the first day after she wins the contest. People know that it's not her fault, and why would WWE even throw her into a match when she has no experience? And, even someone who has 10 years of experience is not going to be able to hide the fact that she can't hit the ropes or take a bump, you know what I mean? And it's also dangerous for her. She could get hurt if she's not trained properly. So I don't agree with any of that. Just use her in the proper way that, she won the contest. She's a pretty girl, and if they want to do the TNA, then go with her that way,
Right.
Well, the news broke a couple weeks ago that they were bringing you and a couple other female workers into TNA. Do you think that TNA will invest in perhaps a women's division?
Realistically, I've talked about this before, and I think that they probably are interested. I don't know definitely. You never know, but that they want to give something that WWE doesn't have. But the realistic part of it is that they only have an hour of programming right now. And with 2 girls right now, and Jackie Gata supposedly is set to come to TNA as well. But you can't build a women's division with 2 girls or 3 girls, and that's realistic. But we can always set the groundwork and start something positive. And, I'm so happy at TNA, and I know that they're going to use me properly, and everyone's so positive back there, and we really want to make a great product. And everyone, just from all the feedback that we've gotten from the first 2 weeks, it's been really great. So I'm very excited. I'm very motivated, and want to make this happen.
They brought you in right at the top, mixing you in with, Team 3D and Jeff Jarrett and all the big stars. I mean, you got to feel good about that. They see so much potential in you that you put you in right at the top once again with such big-name stars.
Oh, definitely. I'm so flattered, and I'm so grateful for that opportunity because I'm learning from these guys, too, at the same time, and they're the best to be learning from because they've been in the business so long. And, I just hope that, we can do something great in the next coming weeks.
One thing I noticed when I watch TNA is it seems like the wrestlers legitimately have, some excitement on their face. Over at WWE, it seems like they're kind of just going through the motions. Is that kind of a fair assessment of how the atmosphere actually feels being in it firsthand?
In terms of TNA or WWE?
Well, in comparison to the two. TNA's got a lot going for them. They're just debuting on Spike. It's something new. I mean, people probably feel a part of something, new and kind of innovative. Where WWE is kind of like the same old. And I feel like the show's on TV. Is that the feeling you get, being there?
Yes, definitely in terms of the positive, energy, because everyone is excited. And you got to remember, too, TNA is a smaller company, so it's a smaller roster. So we're more like a family. WWE is a huge company, so, it's more like a high school where you have your groups of people you hang out with, or cliques, And so you might not have as much rapport with the full roster. But everyone is so positive and so helpful, and I just feel a different energy there. That's my personal experience. I mean, other people might feel another way, but I love TNA. I can't say enough good things about them. Right?
Yeah, we've talked to a few people that work at TNA, like Lance Hoyt and Father James Mitchell. And Father James Mitchell obviously has, the experience and,
Been around.
the time in the business that he can compare the two. And that's exactly what he says. He says everyone seems like, real hyped up, real excited about doing the TNA on Spike. Everyone's just freaking out about it.
Yeah, I mean, since day one, when TNA first called me, I went down there just to, my first initial reaction was, no, I'm not going to right away just take the job because it's the next wrestling company. I wanted to go down there because I don't live too far from Universal Studios, and I said, I want to check out how the roster is going to be. I want to know who I'm working with, and everyone was just so welcoming and amazing, and like I can just go on positive, happy. I'm so happy to be there.
Well, you and Tracy Brooks are good friends, correct? Is there any, kind of looking ahead, a little foresight that the two of you are going to get together in the ring again?
I hope so. We definitely hope so. Right now, we're just kind of doing our own thing. But hopefully down the line, once they want to start building towards something with women in terms of wrestling, I hope to get in the ring with her.
Oh, absolutely. It'd be great to see you guys in there. You guys started together, didn't you, years ago?
Yeah, we trained together. We started my very first day. Tracy was actually the one that I remember being so welcoming, and we trained together for maybe 2 years. We worked at Independence together, and then we kind of just went our own way. She went to TNA, and I went to WWE, and now we're back together again. So all the fans have been excited, too, because they want to see us get in the ring together.
Yeah, about a year and a half ago, I actually interviewed Tracy, and she was so proud of you that you actually made it to the WWE. So,
right.
Well, let me ask you this. We're talking a little bit about training. Back in WWE, Fit Finlay seems to get a lot of credit for how the women's division kind of turned out, back in like 2003 and that time when there were so many good divas. Was she really beneficial for Gail Kim as a worker?
Oh, my God. I can honestly say about WWE that Fit Finlay is the thing that I miss the most, or the person I miss the most, because he did raise the bar, and he just brought this aggression to the women that, the physicality that we never had before. And I remember when I started, he was like, you got to be more physical. I'm like, I am being physical. And he's like, no, you got to be more physical. And then, when I came back from my collarbone injury, I came back with a few ideas for finishers, which were the submissions. And it was actually Sket's idea to go with the direction of the submissions, more specializing in the submissions, and that would be my kind of wrestling style. And I loved it, and we started working in the ring together every week, and I just saw my wrestling improve so much. And then of course, I got cut off.
Right.
Well, you said that your style is more of a submission style, and seems to be the likes of people who come from up in Canada. How do you think you compare, and I know this is kind of a tough question, a loaded question maybe, to some of the Canadian wrestlers we've seen, such as a Chris Benoit, Bret Hart, and people of that ilk?
Well, I definitely look up to those guys like Chris. Everyone I look at them for different reasons. Chris Benoit, he's so aggressive, he's so intense in the ring, and everything, and he's, kind of submissions, more technical, and I love that about him. And Bret the Hitman Hart, of course, I was a fan growing up and looked towards him, and even before I started with WWE, Trish, I knew her as a fitness model and looked up to her in terms of getting into shape like her, everyone's got something, and, as Canadians, we're starting to dominate the wrestling world.
Well, that was a question I meant to ask you. We talked about pressure a little bit early on. Do you feel any pressure kind of representing that whole notion of, the phenomenal Canadian wrestlers? I mean, people such as Bret Hart and Christian and Trish and all these people. Is there some pressure that comes along with that?
I don't feel any pressure in terms of being Canadian and becoming a good wrestler. I just feel my own pressure to be a good wrestler in general, not being Canadian or anything like that. I think we're just, when you start with a company, you're like, hey, you're Canadian. Well, okay. You feel that connection right away.
Right.
Yeah.
I got a good question for you. We interviewed Diamond Dallas Page about a year ago, and he was talking about how he supposedly gave the RKO to Randy Orton, and now I see that Trish Stratus is now using the Matrix move. Did she get permission from you to use that, or does it bother you that she uses it?
Oh, I never even had that. I think she was using it before I came along. I think she was using it before I came along. But I'll tell you one thing, I'm the only one who cut her off with it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, this was a question we got. We announced we're going to have you on a radio show, and some people were wondering if you could kind of turn back the hands of time. Out of any of the female wrestlers, you know, the Mullahs, the Mae Youngs, maybe the Medusas of the world, who would you really like to just get in the ring and have it out with?
Maybe Sensational Sherry Martel or Wendy Richter, you know, because that's who I grew up watching, the time of Wendy Richter and, you know, way back then when wrestling was just at its best, I believe, back then, you know. So probably at that time and to learn whatever I can from them, you know. So I actually met Scary Sherry at an independent girls show before I started with WWE, and she was so super nice and
totally the opposite of her character.
Oh my God, yeah, she's so nice and so supportive of all the independent girls.
Oh, absolutely. She came on our program and she was saying that there's such great workers coming up in the business, and I think the one thing she looks for in the talent that's coming up today, and I'm going to ask you about this. We had a discussion with this on Francine, actually, is the co-host of our live broadcast. We were discussing how a lot of the guys who come into the business today, when they go into the locker room for the first time, they don't even walk around and shake hands and say, you know, I'm so-and-so, pleased to meet you.
Right.
Do you think that there might be a lack of respect in the guys who are starting to get trained these days?
I don't know about getting trained, but, you know, when you bring people into, for example, WWE is bringing in a lot of people who have no training whatsoever, and it's becoming more Hollywood and, you know, more entertainment. It's more entertainment-based, so they're bringing in people who are coming in through winning contests, and they don't understand. A lot of people who are brought in that way don't understand that a lot of people are putting years into this business and have a passion for this business, and, you know, that's what they live for, and so the respect might not be there because they're just not aware. You know what I mean? I don't think it's done purposely, but they don't realize that, you know, people go down to OVW or independents and work 10 years, and they just think, okay, you just come to WWE and you get a contract because you look good or whatever it may be. And, you know,
How valuable? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
How valuable is it, do you think? I know you've recently done some work outside the United States to go to places like Australia and Japan. Does that really help that much in in-ring work and really help out as far as understanding where the business goes?
Oh, definitely. You know, those fans are so amazing out there, and just performing in front of different types of crowds helps you because some crowds are really easy to work in front of, so you can just not work as hard. I mean, I always work the same way every time, but some people might, you know, one crowd might be where you'd work more in entertainment because they're easier crowd to please. For example, you know, overseas in England, you do an arm drag and they get excited, you know. But when you come to the United States, they're so used to the high flying stuff that it's harder to please them. So, you know, you kind of just learn to work different crowds, and that's definitely valuable in learning to entertain in front of the crowd or perform in front of the crowd.
I got two questions left for you from me, and that is, we've discussed a little bit about the Diva Search contest, and the Wicked Child from our forums keeps asking me to ask you, what do you think of the Diva Search competition idea? Do you think that it might be detrimental to women being taken seriously?
Well, I mean, WWE, they're doing it for a reason, you know, and they're trying to attract that type of girl who's a hot chick and who might not be doing the wrestling. They do a little bit of wrestling, but or what they try to do, you know. But I don't know what to say about it. You know, I can't blame the girls for wanting to win the contest. It's a lot of money. They're on TV, and that's the way they look at it. But as a wrestler, it's, yeah, you know, someone who's putting their body on the line every night to, you know, do something for this business, it is a little discouraging that, you know, someone could just walk in and get a contract that easily. But,
Well, let me ask you this. There also seems to be lately, you know, I've even watched like WEW pay-per-views, things like that. It seems like not only in WWE but in other feds that they're really trying to go for like a cookie-cutter kind of image of what a female wrestler should be. Do you personally, you know, not necessarily having, you know, blonde hair, blue eyes, I know Molly Holly's another one that, you know, maybe isn't, you know, blonde hair, blue eyes. Do you guys feel like you're maybe outcast a little bit because of that, or it's ever worked against you in any ways?
personally, me not being blonde hair, blue eyes, I like that. I like being different. Now, it might hurt some people because, yeah, that's what the ideal image is, I guess, or what Vince is kind of portraying. But I like being different. I want to be different. And, yes, I do like to dress sexy, and I work hard for my body, and I want to look good. But at the same time, I don't want to be just TNA. I want to show people that I have other skills, too. So, I don't know. For myself, I like being different.
I think it's a benefit to be different.
Yeah,
I mean, variety's the spice of life, right?
I mean, I don't think it's hurt me so far, but who knows? I mean, I didn't last in WWE, right? So who knows?
One of the things that's detrimental is some people come into the business, business being TNA, I should say, and they have to change their names. Like Kip James was Billy Gunn in WWE, and the Dudley Boys obviously had to become Team 3D. You're still Gail Kim. Is that your birth name, or how did you end up keeping your name?
It's exactly my name. I have no middle name. Gail Kim is my full name, and I'm so glad that I didn't use another name now. And I try to, for example, I went to Australia, and there's an independent worker there, a girl, and I said, well, the only piece of advice I have for you is if you ever make it there, just use your real name. And she's like, why? And I said, because then, you're pretty much set if you use your...
They can't take that away from you.
Yes, exactly.
Let me ask you this. Before you actually signed with TNA, was there any interest from any other feds, like maybe a Ring of Honor? It kind of seems like your style might, kind of work well over there. Or is that something you're still kind of open to in the future?
I'm open to it in the future. When I first left WWE, I was thinking, with the direction that they were going in, TNA at that time had no women except, they had Tracy and Trinity, but they weren't doing much with them. So, to be honest, I felt very discouraged about women's wrestling. I felt like it was a dead end. And I really felt like I needed to pursue other things. So I kind of did at that time, and I didn't really accept any bookings. And but now, TNA's kind of opened up my eyes again to, okay, I'm very motivated and passionate again. And yeah, I'm very open to bookings in the future. But right when I got released from WWE, I really wasn't. And a lot of people, bookers and everyone, I've explained this before, kept on saying, Gail Kim, she's overpriced, and, she thinks she has to make all this money. But I really overpriced myself because I didn't want to work at that time. But
That's a good way to do it, right?
Yeah, but people still take it the wrong way. They think you're a diva. But but now I'm working again. I'm excited again. And
now you're not a diva, you're a knockout.
Yeah, I'm a knockout now.
Let me ask you this. You kind of recently, if I'm not mistaken, had a match with Nydia, right? Maybe like early 2005, if I'm not mistaken, like February. I've heard since then she's really not interested in kind of even pursuing wrestling at all anymore. Do you still keep in contact with her and know if that is the case or not?
Yeah, we just finished doing a tour in Australia together last week. And we did 3 matches there. And I think she's open to doing wrestling bookings, but I think she's trying to take that advantage to wrestle and travel the world. So I think if it's local, she'd be more hesitant to take those bookings because I'm not sure what her plans are for the future, but I know she's going to Italy at the end of this month to work with Jackie Gata, and she just finished this tour in Australia, so it looks like she's doing more overseas bookings.
Well, it's good to hear that at least she's not totally disenfranchised. That was kind of the impression I got.
I had heard weird stories like
Yeah, you know what? Don't believe everything you hear. Don't believe everything you read, because that's the one thing that gets on my nerves, because I hate the gossip, and I've heard so many things about myself, too, just like that's what I'm trying to explain to you about the bookings, in terms of why I didn't work after, because I just want to clear things up, and I want people to know out there that don't believe everything you read or hear.
Well, let me ask you this, then. What do you think of the Internet's role in wrestling? Do you think that it makes everything too open and people just know too much?
Yeah, I'm kind of split down the middle with the Internet thing. I mean, I understand it's great when you can hear what the fans think, but at the same time, I really feel like a lot of people are very negative and just out to bash people or spread rumors, and unfortunately, the negative things always stand out, and I just try to keep myself away from that.
See, it's funny. You feel like you have a lot of negative, publicity that maybe came your way, and I mean, at least speaking from my end, I've never heard anything negative really about any of the divas that were recently released from, WWE or even in TNA. It seems like they always have, a pretty good standing within the internet faithful.
Oh, really? You know what?
Yeah.
The internet, though, I just hear from people who tell me things, when you're talking amongst the wrestlers. And I mean, you know what, though? I do have a website, and all the email that I get through there through fans, it's always positive. And I love reading the emails from the fans because it's just a very motivating thing for me that they love to watch TNA or watch myself and the other women, and that they really do want to see women's wrestling instead of the TNA. So it's encouraging.
And your website is lafelina.com, correct?
Yes, and I'm getting ready to relaunch that because I never update it. And so I'm getting ready to get a new website with new pictures, new forms where I can answer questions and have diary entries, and we're working on that right now.
Well, look at you, girl. You're just getting fresh starts all over the place, right?
Yeah.
That's definitely good. Well, we appreciate your time. We appreciate you coming on the show, and we wish you all the best of luck in your upcoming roles in TNA. And we look forward to seeing you on our TV screens.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, this is the King of the Mountain, Jeff Jarrett, and founder of Global Force Wrestling. And you're listening to Interactive Wrestling Radio.
Welcome to the Wrestling Epicenter here on the Blaze 1260 AM. Today we have a great show for you. First of all, it's me, James Wolf, joined as always by my boy Chuck D. Chuck, how you doing today?
Holla, Leia.
Later on in the program, we're going to be joined by, as always, the pretty extreme Francine, as well as the TNA superstars, if you will. None other than the Three Live Crew's Conan, as well as the hot knockout former diva, if you will, Gail Kim.
I'll tell you what, man, Conan was an excellent interview. It was such a pleasure to even talk to you today. I didn't really know what to expect. I think it comes through with flying colors. Gail Kim, also another phenomenal interview. Talked about someone who's level-headed and down to earth. It was also a pleasure to speak with her.
Oh, absolutely. A lot of people have said that she might have a bit of an ego for her asking price, and she discusses that in great detail with us. So I think it's going to be very interesting to hear what these two have to say. Two great interviews, two TNA interviews. It's kind of a theme this week, is we are going to cover the upcoming pay-per-view that's been 2 years in the making, Bound for Glory.
Well, didn't they have it a year ago?
They never had it. It was originally supposed to be in Mexico City, and the main event was going to be Jeff Jarrett against Hulk Hogan, and they canceled it because Hogan bailed out for whatever reason.
Well, here's an interesting topic that maybe we want to jump into. We're waiting for Francine to give us a call here. We were happening to flipping the channels out here. We get this thing called, I guess it's Univision or something along those lines.
Telemundo, maybe.
Yeah, Telemundo.
Mas, Arizona.
Something. Regardless of that, we were watching it, and we saw this huge wrestling spectacle over the television set. And apparently this was like AAA Lucha Libre. It was like their version of WrestleMania. It took place in Guadalajara. Conan went in great depth regarding this whole promotion, its history, as well as what he feels to be his future. And I'll tell you what, it was entertaining. This was like a pay-per-view style event. There's a lot of great matches. We saw Vampiro, who no longer has long hair or any makeup.
Yeah, he lost the hair versus hair match quite a long time ago in Mexico, as a matter of fact, and that's where his long hair went. And the makeup is a definite detriment to the Vampiro character. He doesn't really play a vampire anymore. It's just kind of like a guy that goes by the name Vampiro.
You know who else showed up? We saw Psychosis come on there.
Yeah, WWE superstar, as a matter of fact.
I mean, that was something else. It was very entertaining, even though I had no idea what was being said.
Can I go on a little rant about the fact that we couldn't hear what was being said?
It was tough, man.
Just a minor rant. You know how in America we have this little option where you hit the SAP button and you can hear everything that's being said in Spanish?
Yeah.
Well, why is it unfair to us Americans? Why are we prejudiced against that you can't hit the SAP button and get English when you're watching a Spanish channel?
I feel like I'm watching a bad Muhammad Hassan promo right now.
Well, it's prejudice, dude. It's not fair. It's not fair. Why is it when I go to Mexico, I have to pay $50 to make a phone call, and I can't get an operator that speaks English, yet here we get an option 1 for English or para dos, para español? Why is that? Where's the level-headedness here? Where's the justice?
I'm gonna have to pull you off the air, Muhammad Hassan style now.
I'm proud of America. I'm proud to be an American.
You know what was really good about this pay-per-view?
What's that?
Or this show that was kind of like their pay-per-view, was that even though I couldn't understand any of the announcing or what was going on, it was still entertaining.
Yeah, it was very fun. There was a lot of high-impact wrestling. If you like the X Division, you like this stuff. I don't think there was a lot of psychology, but at the same rate, you don't know if we just weren't grasping the psychology because we couldn't hear what they were saying.
Who was that dude that had like the whole bones thing going on?
That's La Parka, but
La Parka. I saw La Parka. I felt so like educated, if you will.
Yeah, Chuck D has never seen La Parka work before this, and he missed him in WCW. I'm not 100% sure, and if anybody's out there, please let us know. You can IM Chuck D at TruckD1260 on AIM, and let us know if that's the original La Parka or if it's the replica guy that now plays the La Parka character.
He had a belly.
He had a bit of a belly. La Parka always did.
But I was so surprised by he was like dancing around more than he was wrestling.
He's a funny character. He's like their version of The Rock.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
Maybe they can call him El Rocco.
Are you listening to all this craziness, Francine?
Yeah, I'm just taking it all in.
We're talking about this AAA Lucha Libre show we got to watch.
Lucha Libre, yeah. Did La Parka do the thing with the chair, with the guitar, and...
No, but
he actually didn't, and I was disappointed.
Oh, that's classic La Parka right there.
I've never seen La Parka before.
Oh, you've never seen him? Oh, no, he's really good.
This was like the first time I saw it. I didn't know what to expect, and all of a sudden this guy comes running around, dancing around in this Skull and Bones, and I'm like, who is that?
Yeah, he'll like hit this tremendous spot, and then he'll break out into a strut, or he'll do something silly. He's really fun to watch.
It was entertaining, I must say.
Do you happen to know if that's the original or if that's the second guy playing his character?
You know what? I don't know. I would say it's the second guy, but I'm not really sure on that.
Because I know there's there's a guy running around Southern California now calling himself L.A. Park, and I've heard that he's the original and that AAA owns the name, so I don't know if that's true or not.
I'm not. I couldn't even tell you. I'm sure somebody out there knows. So call in or email us or let us know.
How often is
it? I'm really upset right now.
What's the matter?
Okay, so I go and I buy my Powerball ticket.
Uh-huh.
Okay, because it's up to $340 million.
It's like insanity everywhere over this Powerball.
It's so ridiculous, and I had my whole game plan like worked out, what I was going to do with the money, everything.
Can we ask what we were going to do with the money?
Sure, but let me finish my story first.
Hook it up.
So I'm feeling like so confident, like overconfident, like I won this. I don't know why, but I had such a good feeling going into it. And I only got 2 numbers, and I'm so bummed.
Wow.
I'm so bummed. Oh, yeah. I mean, go ahead, I'm sorry.
I think they said the odds were like 1 in 200 million that you were going to...
Oh, yeah, it was ridiculous, but I was the chosen one. I was so going to win this.
The lottery is a tax on people who are bad at math.
Well, I swore up and down like this was my thing, that I had this, and I totally lost. And I only got 2 numbers, which if I get anything back, like I probably get like $1 back, and I only spent $10. I mean, it was really.
How many tickets do you get for $10?
10. You get 10.
Really?
They're $1.
They're $1 each.
Could you tell I actually had a ticket too?
You had a ticket?
Yeah, but I don't know what the numbers were. I'll have to check when I get home. You might be on the phone with the multi-millionaire right now, Francine.
Oh, my God, that would be wonderful. Well, if I can't win, I hope you do. Or I hope nobody wins so I can actually play again. But that's kind of selfish.
You know what's kind of an odd thing that I was talking to a friend of mine about? He actually still lives in New York. I know, Francine, you've been in New York your fair share of times. James, you've obviously been there.
Right.
You guys remember the lady that used to announce the lottery winnings, Yolanda Vega?
She's dead.
What?
I thought she died.
Yolanda Vega?
I'm almost positive she's dead.
No.
I'm almost positive.
Dude, I'd be like passed out or something, like been out drinking, and all of a sudden I hear this chick, and she's like, "This is Yolanda Vega."
Yeah,
like,
she's
man,
she's only Spanish when she says her name. You notice that?
Yeah, and then she's like, "Today's lottery numbers are." I'm like, wow.
You know what? A lot of the Spanish people do that.
And that bothers me.
When they talk, they will enunciate certain words with their ethnicity, and other words will be totally like English.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's weird.
What about those lottery commercials in New York? Hey, you never know.
Is that the ones where like some guy says the lotto this month is
$300?
Right.
This week's New York State Lotto is now.
And then our buddies Matt Hoover's pigeons fly all over the place.
Yeah.
Well, all I know is ours was $340 million, and I was so ready to win, and I didn't.
Is the Powerball like a national thing?
Yeah.
It is?
Is it national?
Is it
I thought it was
only
only,
I thought it was,
yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I'm pretty sure it's only certain states.
Yeah, I think he's confused because Arizona is up to like 350 million too.
No, it is. I'm pretty sure that we all have the same Powerball because I know somebody in Philadelphia was talking to me about it. They were saying that it's at the 350. I know ours is up to that. So
Yeah, but isn't it? Don't you have to drive? Like, because I know certain states they had to like drive down to other states to buy their tickets.
Yeah.
maybe it's only like in 25 of the 50 states.
Yeah,
I
I
don't know.
think it's in selected cities and states and stuff. Because I don't think everybody gets it.
Select areas only.
Yeah, I think so. But anyway, so I'm like devastated because I'm not the millionaire I thought I was going to be.
What were you going to
But
buy with it, Francine? What's
Well,
the
you know
first
what
thing
I
you
was
buy
gonna-
with $350 million?
I was going to take care of my whole family, which is huge. Yeah, I was actually going to take care. I have 2 sisters and a brother. My parents, I have an elderly aunt, and I have all my nieces and nephews. Everybody was going to get a ton of money. I was going to give to my church. I was going to give to charities. I was going to invest. And then I was like thinking, like, what is around this, like, or rather, what do we need, like, around this area? And because I always wanted to like buy property and make something that's lacking.
Francine, the state you
Yes,
live in needs
sir.
people.
What's that?
The state you live in needs people.
Delaware's
Yeah, we
not that
have
unpopulated.
people.
I've been in
You
Delaware.
know, let me tell you something, okay? I moved here, I guess, 8 years ago, or maybe it's 9. Anyway, when I first moved here, there was like really nobody in the area. It was a lot of land, and I remember I couldn't get a phone because there was no power lines. We didn't have cable. Yeah, I mean, nothing was available. I had to wait like 2 to 3 weeks. I remember Shane Douglas telling me, how am I supposed to get a hold of you? Because I had no phone because they couldn't come. There were no lines put up.
That's
You
insane.
know, and it's been populated. I mean, there's a lot of people here now. I mean, compared to what it was 8 years ago, you know, I'm from Philadelphia. That was overly saturated.
Yeah, I just think of Delaware, like Rhode Island, Delaware, New Hampshire, all those states to me are like, I don't know. Are they even
Let me
still
tell
like
you,
there? I forget.
We're the first state and the friendly state.
Wow.
That's what we are.
I prefer St. Louis. I believe that's the show me state.
Well,
Oh,
I don't think
that's
St.
why
Louis
I
is a
don't live
state.
there because I don't show anything. But
well,
anyway,
whatever it's called.
I believe
Yeah.
the state is called Missouri, not St. Louis.
I appreciate you no-selling
That
my
would be
jokes.
the
You're making
city.
me look like $1 million.
Gotcha.
Yes.
There you go.
Hey, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
I gotta
Good
correct you
for you.
sometimes.
This isn't a history show.
That's
so-
right.
Yes.
This is not social studies.
Well, the
Right.
funny thing
Thank
is,
you,
though,
buddy.
I have a lot of family, and my uncle, who actually lives in Delaware, which is how I know that there's actually people there, asked me all the
There
time.
are people here.
Yes, he always asked me, though, do you have stores in Arizona? And I'm like, I wish these people could come out here and look, because we have more
You
stores
have
here than we do
stores?
people. Yes.
Oh my God, we have so many stores, and the best thing about it is there's no tax.
No tax.
Really?
There's no state tax?
Delaware is tax free.
Wow.
Wow.
I used to go to
It's that-
Canada for that.
No, it's the greatest for shopping. That's why I love buying my clothes here or ordering clothes.
Uh-huh.
No sales tax, nothing.
So if I order over the internet from Delaware, a store in Delaware, I don't have to pay tax.
No, you have to live in Delaware not to get the
Oh.
tax.
Well, that's not any fun.
Well, that's the catch. But Delaware's a beautiful, beautiful state. It really is. I mean, so many people are like, "You're from where?" And
Right.
I think it's beautiful. I mean, I'm a city girl at heart, but I really like where it's more quiet and more country because you know, as you get older, you don't party as much, and I like it. I like Delaware. It's nice and cozy.
When does the not partying start to happen exactly? Because I'm waiting for that for like years now.
Well, you have to make the switch there, kid.
And I can't stop it. See, I always think, well, I'm done.
Well,
Well,
I'm that typical
and
guy
plus
that's
I think
hungover.
guys go longer than girls do.
I'm that typical guy laying in bed the next morning, and I'm like, I'm never drinking again.
dude, you're going to be like
we've
Larry
all,
from
we've
Three's
all
Company.
prayed. We've all prayed to God, please, if you let me live, I'll never drink again. And of
Isn't that the
course you
funniest
do.
thing? And then like the next night, you're like, yeah, screw you, God, I'm getting wasted.
Totally do it. And I'll tell you what, I used to be able to pound shots. I would go out to a club, and I would drink about 7 or 8 Jägermeisters or
Oh.
Southern Comfort, because I used to vary. Like, Southern was my thing, and then I went to Jägermeister.
Some SoCo
I
and
would have,
lime?
like, what's that?
Some SoCo and lime?
No lime.
What? Just
No
hardcore.
Just
Straight up.
Yeah, and then I'd drink like 3 or 4 beers, and I'd be wasted, and then I would come home and just bleh, and then go out again the next night, do it all over again.
Yeah, you know,
And-
the funniest thing was I went out a couple weeks ago, and my boy ended up like passed out on my floor, And like I didn't want him to go back to his place. I'm like, this dude's gonna die. He wakes up with like puke all over my floor. He's like in my closet somehow. He doesn't know how he got there. I wake up, I'm like, why are you in my closet?
He's
like,
lucky he didn't choke on his puke.
no kidding. I kept making him lay on his side. But like later on in the day, after I get him home and all that, he wakes up and he calls me up, and I'm still hungover. I'm like, I don't feel good at all. And he's like, I feel great tonight. He has no recollection of like the puke on my floor, him sleeping in my closet. I mean, just, man.
Well, do you guys know of the, what's it called? It's this pill, and you're supposed to take it like before you drink.
It's a lie, Francine.
Oh, it doesn't work?
The chasers, man, I thought one night, I was like, this is going to be great. I'm like, I'm going to keep taking them. I'm going to just keep drinking. Next morning, I was like, that was a terrible idea. I am sicker than a dog.
Really?
Terrible.
Okay.
It did nothing for me.
See, I'm a lightweight now. Like, I don't drink anymore. On occasion, I'll go out, like, if I'm with my friends or the boys or whatever, and I'll have a couple cocktails. But after a couple, I'm like, woo! Back in the day, it used to take me, like, 10 drinks to get, buzzy.
Well, because look at who you were running with, Francine. If you're hanging
What's
out
that?
with the Sandman, right, I mean, one would have to figure you could hold your liquor, right?
Well, no, back in the day before I got into wrestling.
Oh, even before then.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, see, I didn't know how far back we were going.
Well, no, that's when I used to drink. I wasn't an alcoholic, but we would go out, and we'd go to Wildwood, New Jersey, and we'd party, and stay out, because the bars were open until like 5 o'clock.
I hear that.
Yeah, so we used to go out, and we used to drink and drink and drink and drink and drink. And now when I go out, 3 beers, and I'm just like, okay, I have to pee 50 times, and I have to go home and go to bed.
You never go to those bladder busters, like the first one to go to the bathroom, the whole bar has to stop drinking? You ever been to those?
I never heard of that.
I made the mistake, and I was the
What
first
is
one.
that?
All right, what it is they'll start at like 5 o'clock. Everyone gets there. Every drink is free until the first person goes to the bathroom.
Oh, and then you got all the heat on you.
And I was like the first one, and I only lasted like an hour and a half, and people were pissed.
And then you have to pay after that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'd be pissed at you, too.
But what can you do? I'm like, well, I can either wet my pants, or I can just go to the bathroom. And I'm like, I'm going to the
You
bathroom.
could be a
Forget
man
it.
and hold it.
I couldn't.
Oh, come
You should have just whipped it out and peed on the bar.
If something's free like that, you know how many beers you can drink in an hour and a half if it's coming to you free?
You know how many wrestlers I saw pee on the bar because they were too lazy to walk to the bathroom?
Oh, man.
That's a story.
I'm not condoning it. I'm just saying it happened.
It's funny, right?
Yeah, it's very funny. Block me. I used to get this all the time. Can you just block me? Oh, yeah, sure. Why not?
The
'Cause
blocking.
I'm so wide. Yeah.
That still goes on today. Like, if you're walking down the street out here, and you're like, I gotta go. Your boy will be like, hey, block me. Yeah, okay.
You could get arrested for that, though.
We're gonna have that discussion maybe another time, I think.
Okay. All right. Well, so, yeah, I don't know how we start from the Powerball to being drunk, but,
Actually, I'll share the story now, because I think it's a funny story.
Go for it.
All right.
Hear it, man.
So I was really wasted one night back in New York.
Uh-huh.
And I was outside of this bar, and I had to go. I mean, I had to go. I was really wasted, and I'm like, the time is now.
We get the story. Okay, go.
Right. So I actually started going to the bathroom, like right there on the sidewalk in downtown.
Yeah.
And so I feel this person tap me on the shoulder. I turn around, and I don't think to stop going to the bathroom.
you pissed on a cop's leg.
You got it.
That's awesome.
No, it was terrible. I got in a lot of trouble. That was a mistake on my part. But I mean, what do you expect?
See that.
What do you expect?
Right.
I mean, would you be dumb enough to go up to a kid that's obviously hammered? I mean, I'm standing in the middle of downtown just going to the bathroom.
See,
Did you get put in the drunk tank?
No, I didn't. I think he just
Oh.
felt so bad for me because I was wasted. I was tore up.
I never heard of the drunk tank until I watched Real World. I didn't even know a drunk tank existed.
They made it famous.
Yeah, like I never knew. Well, first of all, I've never been arrested. A lot of my friends have been, but I never got caught doing anything.
Uh-huh.
And so I never knew there was a drunk tank. But actually, I guess there's a place in jail where all the drunk people go and sit.
Oh, boy.
Right?
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, apparently.
I guess kind
Yeah.
of like the people who get caught shoplifting get put underneath the mall or something like that. I don't know. But I might be totally out of place here because I never drank. I've been drunk twice. You're asking a non-alcoholic about alcoholic beverages. I don't know. I don't even like the taste of beer. So, I mean, it's really...
I actually enjoy the taste of whiskey. A good little,
Ooh,
sipping
whiskey.
whiskey.
I
No,
can-
like some good
Sipping
whiskey.
is one thing, but chugging it is a different story. Like, I don't like the taste of whiskey at all, but to drink it nonstop when you haven't had a lick of alcohol your whole life, that's kind of major.
I like the Macallan, 80. Aged 80 years. It's got that, little tree flavor to it. It's a sipping whiskey. It's good.
I drank a half a bottle of brandy at my junior prom and passed out.
Oh, wow.
That's hardcore too.
Half a bottle of brandy, kids. Yeah.
I feel bad for your date.
My date, yeah, I think he was like a drug addict, so I don't think he.
Yeah, he was all about like scoring though, and he just blacked out.
No, he totally didn't score.
I know,
He made out that night. I was just like out of it.
That's like the worst thing. Like, cause
I think he left me there.
I took a chick to my prom, and you know, she was like a nice girl, and I'm like, oh yeah, Chuck D's moving in for the kill. Tonight's the night, baby. And she ends up getting totally hammered and throws up on me.
Yeah, like, you know, it's not
Justice.
about getting. You're not supposed to, like. It's not about getting laid. It's about partying and drinking, and because you're underage. So if you can get your hands on like a bottle of stuff, you're golden.
I used to go up to like bars with like crayons and a piece of paper, and I'd be like, I'm 21, look, it says. And they'd sell to me. And I look like I'm 5 to this day.
You were so wrong. You needed to stand outside and get a runner. That's what we used to do.
I just used to go get it myself.
Oh, okay. Well, then,
I had the
a crayon
wackest fake
and a piece
IDs.
of paper.
I had this Pennsylvania ID that was like the wackest thing you ever saw in your life. I mean, just ridiculous. It had none of the holograms. Like, the colors were like purple instead of blue. And people used to take it everywhere.
Really? Was it your picture?
Yeah, but
Or was it someone who supposedly looked like you?
no, it was me. But I looked like I was 5. I mean, I still look like I'm only 10 now. But at the time, I
Right.
really looked young. It was bad news.
Well, you're lucky you didn't get put on the wall of shame, because in Jersey, if they don't think it's you, they take your license and they nail it to the wall.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah.
It's the wall of shame.
All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back and we're going to talk a little bit of Raw. How does that sound to you guys? All right, make sure you keep it locked right here to the Wrestling Epicenter here on ASU The Blaze 1260 AM.
Introducing The Blaze 1260 AM.
Hey, this is Batista, World Heavyweight Champion, and you're listening to Blaze 1260 AM.
Yo. I'd like to see rocks. I'm just trying to be laid. It's your boy Chuck D. You're on the Blaze. What, were you expecting more? Listen, I'm corny and I'm loyal. But please, check out my show, The Rap Attack, every Friday from 2 to 4 p.m. only on the Blaze 1260 AM.
Call the Blaze request line at 480-965-1260. Request your favorite song. 480-965-1260. The Blaze 1260 AM.
And we are back here on the Wrestling Epicenter. Your boy Chuck D. James Walsh, Francine is still joining us on the phone. We're going to talk a little bit of Raw.
Sounds like fun.
Okay.
What do you think about this McMahon family? They were all over this TV screen right from the beginning of this show.
Did you expect anything less?
I liked it.
Oh,
I knew it was
Chuck.
coming.
Chuck. At the beginning of the show, in the promo, you say, we don't want to see this crap, man. And I'm going to have to echo those sentiments. I am sick and tired of seeing the McMahons. This is the same stuff we've seen 5 years ago. We saw Austin McMahon already, and that was a fantastic feud. Groundbreaking, as a matter of fact. But 5 years later, it's just like a reheated meal. It's not as good as the first time, you know? It's not good.
I always find them very entertaining, and I say this every week. I think they're great characters. I have no problem seeing them.
You have no opinion to give, Francine?
I gave it last week. I'll say it again. I don't want this to be an hour and a half of the McMahon. I really don't. As talented as I think they are, sometimes it's overkill. You know, and to a point, I do agree with James. I think they need to spice it up and do some different stuff. You know, it is kind of repetitious. But they do it well. Whatever they're doing it well. I think they're all really, really talented. But yeah, it's rehashed.
See, I kind of liked the beginning of this too, with the whole like who's the number one contender kind of thing. I think it was a good way of setting everything up for the rest of the show.
I agree.
You know, the Hurricane even got on TV.
What do you think about the Jim Ross, you know, showing Jim Ross the way they did? I mean, I know it's a work and stuff, but do you think it's in poor taste due to his health?
I think he's coming back. I think there's no doubt in anybody's mind he's going to come back eventually. I don't think Coach and the King can carry it all by themselves. I think they need JR there.
In the beginning, when they had Coach by himself, I was like, what are they doing?
Yeah,
because there were so many dead spots that there was no speaking. And, you know, if you're doing commentary, I think people need to keep constantly talking.
I really wanted someone big time to come out.
What did I tell you last week? I said they're going to leave it those two for now.
And that's terrible. It upsets me.
And that's what they did. And like, you know, just John, I think I like Coach, but by himself, I was just like, there's no way. And then when I saw Jerry Lawler walk out, I was like, well, at least he's here.
Yeah. I thought they did all right.
Yeah, the two of them aren't bad. It's just when you just have one person, it's kind of hard to carry off, you know, the whole 2 hours by yourself. So I was glad that Jerry came out. But for some reason, I mean, I know wrestling's a work. The way they just portrayed Jim Ross and his current health state, I don't know. To me, it was kind of in bad taste.
It could be. I mean, I don't know how sick JR is. I hope that he's all right. I mean, I heard he has to have surgery. Don't really know what it's all about.
Isn't it like, what did I read about him? I don't want to say the wrong thing, but didn't he have part of his colon taken out, or
something along those lines, I believe.
Something like that. So it was pretty bad.
He lacks intestinal fortitude.
That's not nice at all.
I'm sorry.
That's just a bad joke there.
All I'm saying is that I know it's wrestling. I know they can make a mockery out of anything that they want to, but just the current state, everything that JR has done for that company, and just to see them, the way they're portraying him, and to know he's laying in a hospital bed, I was just like, oh, wow, I don't know if this is the right thing to do. But it got heat, so I guess it was,
I thought it was
that's
fine.
what they wanted.
I didn't have any necessarily problems with it. But what do you think about this whole Edge Big Show thing?
The fact that JBL came out, I thought that was well, he didn't actually come out. His theme song played. I thought that was pretty interesting. Yeah, the theme song hit, and people were confused by that, and I'm still a little confused about it. But I'll tell you what, I'm going to tune into SmackDown, which is something I don't make a habit of doing all the time, to see exactly where they are going for it. But I think, if I'm a betting man, and I'm not really one, I would bet that they're going to head this off at Survivor Series with sort of a team SmackDown versus a team Raw match.
See, I'm of the thought process. This might be something of a ploy on Matt Hardy's end.
Interesting.
Is that a possibility? Maybe.
I think you're thinking too deeply.
I'm a smart guy.
Yeah. I was going to say, I think you're too smart for this.
Right.
Perhaps. Maybe he's just trying to confuse people. Well, how about Big Show getting this victory, though? I don't necessarily get it.
Big Show getting the victory.
Push the big man.
Yeah, they said after, what was it, SummerSlam or whatever the last pay-per-view was, that they're going to start pushing him as the big man, as like the next coming of Andre once again, which I think the time has come and gone for that. I think seeing John Cena and everybody else already lift him up in the air kind of killed that allure of what the Big Show is. Like, if everybody can pick him up, then it's not a special.
Nobody remembers that. You're just reminding us of things you're not supposed to remind us of.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
what are you doing trying to think back?
James.
Incidentally, that sound you just made was me killing the bell. The bell is dead.
Thank God. I hated that bell.
That was my bad idea. I apologize.
I told Chuck earlier, I was like, Chuck, I didn't like the bell.
No one liked the bell.
Yeah, I just stomped it out with my foot, so it's gone for good.
Oh, it was good intentions, Chuck, but...
I was just trying to add a little flavor to the show.
You know what? If you want to move on, say, hey, shut up, we have to move on.
Yeah.
But again, you don't really want anybody to tell you to shut up, because that'll piss me off. But
well, yeah, and that makes good radio. Yeah. I like to see you pissed off. I like arguing and bickering, and so...
Well, wait till we get to the Flair segment.
Shut up, Chuck.
I love it. I'm shut up.
See? Everybody shut up. All right.
It's great. What about Carlito's Cabana, man? We saw Mick Foley come back, and apparently he's doing this whole thing now where for Taboo Tuesday you can pick the Mick Foley you see. You got your choice, a Cactus Jack, Dude Love, Mankind. Francine, what is your pick? Who do you want to see come back?
My favorite was probably Cactus Jack.
I agree.
And I agree as well. That's all three of us picked that
Okay,
one.
wait. I changed my mind. I want to see Mankind come back. He's the one that won the WWF title. Mankind's the one that helped destroy WCW in some sense.
All right, I want to see Dude Love because I love the song.
Yeah. See, there you go.
I used to, God rest his soul, Chris Candido, I used to sing it to him all the time, and every time he would just crack up at me. And I would add my own words, and we'd sing to each other. It was great.
Really?
Yeah. Because Chris and I were just so stupid, but it was fun. But, seriously, I'd like to see Cactus Jack. I think that was his best character, and, if I have to go vote, do I have to go vote on WWE.com?
You don't have to. I'm not going to. I think it's rigged anyway.
Oh, okay.
That's just my opinion.
I don't agree with that. I don't think it's rigged, because I don't think the results always turn out, if you're going to go by past year's Taboo Tuesdays, the way they wanted it to. And I think they've had bad luck with that. I think the Diva Search was supposed to be rigged too. when it was Carmella against Christy, and of course the fans could not stand Carmella, even though she was obviously their favorite choice, and they chose Christy. So
I just don't believe that they're gonna, wait till the last minute. Okay, you guys go through the curtain. This is how it's gonna be. No one even knows who's working who.
yeah,
Is that a little
what is
confusing?
it, the voting right until the
Yeah.
Oh, that is. See, I missed that part.
Yeah, you can even vote like right during the pay-per-view up until that match happens.
Well, then guess what? Mick better bring like all of his outfits with him.
That's what I mean. Hey, Mick, you got about 30 seconds to either be wrapped in barbed wire or wear some tie-dye. Pick one.
Wow.
I mean, I just don't see that being realistic.
I mean, they probably tell you a little bit earlier so he can get dressed. I mean, I don't know.
Or maybe one specific character will have so many more votes than the other.
Right.
But who knows? I mean, it'd probably work anyway, so.
Yeah, possible.
Hey, we saw.
Anyway, I would vote for Catfish Jack.
I would have to agree as well. I think we're all pretty much in agreement. That's how he started his career when he became known.
He was awesome.
Right, and
That's what
I
he's
want to
most
hear him
remembered
do the
for.
bang bang again. So
Bang bang.
Yeah, that is so cute. I love Mick. No matter what he does, he's awesome. But
Probably match of the night came up next was Carlito versus Shawn Michaels.
do I
loved
have
it.
do I have to go off again?
Yeah, go for it, man.
please do.
All right, now when was the last time Carlito won a match?
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's
But
been a
he's
while.
getting a rub because he's in the match with a big star.
Well, when exactly do we start calling him Jobber to the Stars? I mean, he's not won a match in like 2 months now.
I love it.
He's still a young kid.
You know,
So
we live in a
green.
society where
I knew he was going to lose this match, but I'm just kind of bothered by the fact that he's just lost so many matches in a row.
It
That it's,
doesn't matter. He'll advance. He'll still work.
I don't know. I think it's kind of a waste of talent, to be honest with you. I think he needs to win at some point. And
Why?
at this
Okay,
point-
let me ask you this. Why does he need to win?
Because if, in the grand scheme of things, who wins and loses pushes you up or down the card. I know that it
Okay,
really doesn't mean
let
anything
me,
behind the
and I
scenes.
hate, I'm going to hate myself for using him as an example. But
Okay.
in ECW,
Right.
how many times did Tommy Dreamer win?
That's a good question. Not quite all.
Not
often.
ever. What, he win 3 matches? Seriously, he really never won at all. He was still up there on the card. He was still one of the main players in the company. It didn't affect him at all. He elevated so many of the younger talents. Whether you win or lose does not matter. I'm telling you right now.
Right.
Carlito's time will come. He is being, groomed by the best in the business. Just working with Shawn Michaels, not everybody can say they worked a match with Shawn and a match to this caliber.
Right.
Win
It
or
was a
lose,
good match.
That's what I'm saying. Win or lose, this kid is getting TV time. He's working with some of the greatest in the business. There's no way he's going to lose the spot, especially if he keeps his mouth shut and just does what he is told to do. So he's got an excellent spot right now.
I think he does have an excellent spot, but I do think that he needs to win a match. I'm sorry. I know that might sound a little arrogant to me. I know Tommy had a very different character. Tommy
And it
was.
pains me to use him as an example.
I'm
believe
sure
me.
it does. I'm sure it does.
But that's the first thing, because he never won, and it didn't hurt him one bit.
But he was
and people
kind of
can
the-
say, oh, he's a booker, blah, 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 blah. But even still, I mean, the people loved his character. Win or lose, they loved him. People hate Carlito. Win or lose, they're going to hate him anyway.
Well, that's fair, but, Tommy was the ECW martyr. The fans were going to love him no matter what he did. And that's fair that Carlito's going to be hated whether he wins or loses, but I think he'd be hated just a little bit more if he was able to knock off somebody like HBK, like Ric Flair, like Triple H, or somebody of that ilk. Now, I got to ask you this question, if I can just give one more ad-lib, and I know we're going a little off topic, but what has Ric Flair done with the Intercontinental title?
Not much.
Not much.
He didn't even have it on Monday. This is kind of my point. This is why I was against him winning the belt. Just because they wanted him to be able to say, I held the belt, that's great, but the next night he should have dropped it back to Carlito. My opinion.
And those are the same matches that everyone complains about. Oh, this guy only held the title. The title's now losing credibility. It's changing hands too many times. And you'd be the kind of guy that would say that.
I'm not saying that it's losing credibility. All I'm saying is, if you're going to have a title like that, it should be defended. That title should be defended more so than the world title.
And I want to go back to something else that you said.
Why
do you view Tommy Dreamer as like Mr. ECW? I mean, really.
Dude, you're probably saying this to the wrong people here on the phone.
I don't get it. No, I'm not saying it to her. I'm asking you. Do you really view him as that, like, powerful in that company? I'm watching it myself, and this is something I've always heard.
He was always put over as the ECW martyr, the guy who always wore the cowboy that always wore the white hat into battle. That's what he always was put over as.
See, I always thought there were so many more people within that company that kind of carried it along. I look back at ECW, I don't see him as the face of ECW.
Well, who
I see
was there
people
at
like
the end?
RVD. I mean, obviously, he was a guy that was like totally innovative. What did Tommy Dreamer
but he
do that
came
was
in-
ever so innovative? A DDT?
He was the innovator of violence.
I'm just asking you.
Yeah.
A DDT. That's not that innovative.
Well, I hate to be the one to defend Tommy Dreamer on the phone with Francine, so I'll just leave it alone. You know what I mean?
I just had to ask. I just had to ask.
I always believe in giving the devil his due, whether I like them or not, and that's why.
Exactly.
You to this
That's
day.
why I brought him up.
To this day, you still bring up what is that? Bound wire or whatever?
Barbed wire.
What?
No.
Born to be Wired.
Born to be Wired. You bring that up to this day.
Yeah, that was a great show.
Sabu
I
was
just watched that
crazy,
the
out
other
of
day.
control. Oh my Lord, blah, blah. I mean, this is a guy you're still talking about. How 10 years later, or whatever this is now?
That was like
6 years or
that was like
7 years.
97. That
Yeah,
was
this is like 8 years later, and you're still talking about it.
Yeah.
What match with
Well,
Tommy Dreamer
let
that you
me-
still talk about?
Let me say one thing. Being in that company, everybody, from the dark matches, jobber guys to the main eventers, gave everything they had for that company.
Absolutely.
It's not fair to just pinpoint one person as carrying a company.
That is my point exactly.
Well,
In a
I'm
way.
not saying that. I'm not saying that. I'm giving him his credit for what he did do for the company. But there
Exactly.
were a lot of people there.
He did a lot for the company.
He
you
wore
know,
nylon pants. That's it. Wind pants. When wind pants were in
But we all
style.
don't have to agree. Everybody has their favorite.
Wow,
Obviously, he's not a favorite of Chuck's. That's fine.
No, it's just people. There's a lot of stuff. We might have to have like a.
At the same rate, though, at the same rate, you just mentioned Sabu, but Sabu wasn't there for the last year of the company.
Yeah, but he left more of a mark on me than Mr. Dreamer did.
That's fair. Whatever whatever you view.
Yeah, whatever floats your boat. Everybody's got. You know how many people probably hated me and said that I did nothing for the company?
Oh, that's just.
You know, it's everybody's opinion. It's everybody has their own opinion.
I think Too Cold Scorpio left more of a mark on me than Tommy Dreamer.
Oh,
What do you think of
my.
that?
You like Flash Funk, don't you?
That guy can work.
Donnie Allen left more of a mark on you.
Sure.
Donnie Allen, one of my favorite guys ever.
No,
I'll put him over right now.
Too Cold could work, man. When I first saw him, I didn't think I was going to expect anything from this. I'm like, this is ridiculous. And he started doing some crazy stuff.
Well, he had been in WCW before he was in ECW.
I didn't watch WCW.
Yeah, that's pretty clear if you didn't see La Parka, because he was in WCW for like years.
Well, dude, I don't know. Just didn't watch it.
Yeah.
What do you want me to say? I didn't watch it, period.
All right, well, let's not expose yourself as a mark here.
That's okay. Yeah, one of these days you guys can pick my brain, but for now, let's get back to Raw, shall we?
You want to talk more
Thank
about
you
Raw?
so much.
All right.
Okay.
Did we talk about Ric Flair? I ran out of the studio for a minute. Did we hit on Ric Flair making himself bleed profusely like a crazy person?
No, but
Because I loved it.
I think this is going to be another confrontation here.
I loved it.
What was the point?
What even was the point? He looks like insane, enraged. To Triple H, you come and bring it. I am Ric Flair. I am psyched, ready to roll. You know what I'm saying? He's out there. He looks like a crazy. I don't want it. It gives him credibility because he looks old. I'm not going to deny this. You know, he's not the youngest looking guy, but if he's out there going crazy, he's got blood running in his eye, like literally pools of it, just running everywhere.
But how does
like
he
a
not look
person.
crazy? A couple weeks ago, he was dropping elbow drops on an apple.
I love
How does
it.
he not look crazy?
I love it.
Oh, wow.
This is good
On
TV.
an apple.
Yeah,
Great.
He's grabbing crotches. He's got blood in his eye. He's elbow drop.
Hey, this is Devon Dudley of the Dudley Boys, and you are listening right now to Interactive Radio. Oh, my brother, testify.
AM, you just listened to a great interview with the one and only Gail Kim. We'll have the entire thing up a little bit later on this evening on www.wrestlingepicenter.com. Check that out for all your news needs in the world of professional wrestling. But Gail Kim is now a new member of the TNA roster. TNA with a big pay-per-view coming up this Sunday. Once again, 2 years in the making. It is Bound for Glory. Chuck, what do you think?
I want to talk Impact.
Impact will lead us into Bound for Glory.
I loved Impact. I thought it was better than Raw. Hey, I say it week in, week out. They did something smart in the beginning of the show, which it's kind of confusing. I went ahead to my bets. It went to something bad. And let me explain it to you. Molly Brown came out. I was like, hell yeah, it's my boy. Welcome to the Serengeti. I love it. Then all of a sudden, he crushes these two guys, Mikey Batts, Jarrell Clark. I'm like, great. I love it. Push him hard. Push him to the stars. Make him the man. But then you know what happens?
They turn him heel.
Kind of. No one knows what happened. Yep. Did he turn around? Did he stay face? Lance Hoyt? Where's he? He just debuts? Feuding with Matty Brown? I don't get it.
I don't get it. We have not seen Lance Hoyt on TNA on Spike yet. This is the first time we had an opportunity to see him. Up until this point, we've had every indication that Monty Brown is a babyface. And yet he gets in there and Lance Hoyt chases him out of the ring, and what does he do? He turns and runs like the chicken S heel.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't do it for me. I don't get it.
Bad news.
I mean, if he can kill two guys that are relatively large in Jarrell Clark and Mikey Batts, I think he should stay and fight a bigger guy like Lance Hoyt.
Next match was Matt Bentley with Tracy versus David Young, and I got to give it up. You know, I don't often change my mind. I'm pretty stubborn, but I'll tell you what. I enjoy Matt Bentley with Tracy more and more every week. I see a little Shawn Michaels in this guy. It shows.
Oh, well, of course, he's the cousin of Shawn Michaels, and he never lets you forget it. I think he should create his own identity. Originally, I wanted to call him HB2K, Michael Shane, but people didn't seem to like that, so now they're going with the Matt Bentley name, which I think is a terrible name and needs to change, but...
You know who really stole the show on this one? Petey Williams.
Petey Williams.
His finisher's cracked out sick. I love it. It's great.
Cracked out sick. My words exactly, Chuck. Cracked out sick. I'm being sarcastic, of course. Facetious, if you will. I don't know. I think the move is phenomenal. I don't know if you can get the bigger guys to take it. I can't see him applying that move to Kevin Nash.
Well, he's a cruiserweight.
Yes, but if you ever aspire to be anything in this world, you got to work with the big boys.
If you ever aspire to be anything in this world, you have to work with people like Kevin Nash. That's a great thought, dude. I love it.
You've got to work with the star to make a star. Otherwise, he's nobody. And Buff Bagwell, who's going to join us very soon, said the exact same thing.
I want to talk a little bit about this. This is what, to me, made TNA better than Raw this week. It's pretty simple. Funeral Parlor, we see Father James, we see Team Canada, Double J, Jeff Jarrett, all kinds of people, man, and they're burying 3D, and they took so many shots at WWE, man. I loved it. It was great.
If you really watch closely, when they first entered the funeral home, there was a guest book there, and it said Pat and Sylvan.
And it also said Kevin Dunn.
Kevin Dunn and somebody else.
Hysterical.
It also said Paul and Stephanie, and Vince and Linda. It was pretty funny.
It was. In the segment itself, that was everyone wants to say, what did the books say? I don't care what the books say. You know, it didn't matter. The point was, it was a good promo, it was well produced, it was well done, and it actually made sense. And did you see this dude peeing on the casket? Great.
That was Wildcat. No, that was Cowboy James Storm doing that. And that
he was wasted. He was tore up. It's been the show about drinking, man. He was drunk.
Oh, yeah. He seemed like he was a little bit drunk, but that's kind of how he always talks, so I don't know if that was...
Well, no, dude, actually, that was part of the angle. See, he had been drinking during the funeral shots.
Oh, yeah.
So therefore, he was...
But at the beginning, he says, hurry up, I gotta whiz or something like that.
Because he'd been drinking.
Yeah, I guess so.
We talked about all this earlier, peeing on the bars, you know?
Well, maybe I'm the only one with a little normalcy to him, but I don't pee on bars.
Really? Because you don't drink, man. Sabu versus Rhino. I got to see Sabu. I loved it. I'm such a Sabu mark. Although I was kind of upset. I was a little bit upset that he came out to not his original music.
No, well, they can't. It's owned by ECW, and ECW is now owned by WWE.
Well, I understand the rationale behind it. That doesn't mean I have to like it, does it?
No, it doesn't, but you got to deal with it.
Yes, I do have to deal with it, but I don't like it.
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to tell you what. Sabu got the rib by doing the job to Rhino.
No, that's not what happened, actually.
He got the rib.
No, Rhino just won via a gore. And then they had all this, like, craziness. This is the one match right here that makes me want to order Bound for Glory. This Monsters Ball match. They're going to have Abyss, Jeff Hardy, Rhino, and Sabu. All of them got to the ring. All started to fight. There was some tacks, like teeth being used. Some chairs were used. It was a great segment. Knowing what these guys will do to themselves, I can't wait to see this match. It's going to be sick.
I got to ask you this question, Chuck. Are you going to order Bound for Glory?
I don't know yet. I'm still on the fence.
Still on the fence.
I want to see what happens this Saturday.
I'll tell you what, you got one more Impact to make that decision.
And I want to see what they got to offer me.
Let's see what they got. Did you hear the TNA's that they have their own special coming up?
2 hours, huh?
Yeah, Thursday night.
I also heard a rumor that starting November 3rd, they're getting a 2-hour time slot.
I have not heard that rumor, but it could be possible.
I've heard this rumor, and I love the thought of it. Do you think TNA has enough stars, enough people on their roster, enough ability to go ahead, and you do think they can carry 2 hours, huh?
Well, they did it before when they were on Wednesday nights on pay-per-view, so they can do it again, and I think that'll help them tremendously in terms of character building, in terms of getting more people on the show. I think it'll help them tremendously, and I think the next step, upon getting 2 hours, the one step to build upon that, go live.
Then what's the next step after that?
The next step is probably going head-to-head, but I think that's a couple of years down the line.
Is this Building a Wrestling Company 101 by James Walsh?
Yes, it is.
Awesome.
Yes.
Hey, you know who we got to interview?
Who's that?
Shark Boy, man. He was taking on AJ Styles, or excuse me, Christopher Daniels. He was part of AJ Styles' little 30-minute, excuse me, man, I'm all over the place. 30-minute Iron Man challenge. What happened was AJ Styles got to pick 3 people to face Christopher Daniels, who claims he could beat them all on this pay-per-view. He did indeed beat Shark Boy, which I'll tell you what, was a great interview. This guy's kind of smart.
It wasn't a pay-per-view. It was a show, not a pay-per-view.
This Shark Boy guy, he's a good guy.
He's a good guy, good worker, good to see him in there. Kind of upset that he got jobbed out the way he did, but hey, I guess he got the rub.
But you know what he told us in his interview?
What's that?
Hey, I'm a company guy.
That's a fair thing to say. Now, next was the one and only player from the Himalaya, Sanjay Dutt.
I don't like this guy.
I think he's phenomenal. I don't like the new tights.
I don't like anything about him. I don't think he's that great of a worker. I don't want to see him in the ring. I don't even like his look.
I think he's a funny talker. Have you ever heard him talk?
I don't care to hear him talk. I don't want to see him again.
Wow, you're against Sanjay. You're against the player.
I don't like the player from that. Dude, he's a tool. I don't want him on my TV.
And up next was AJ Styles in an uncharacteristic flop.
This dude botched a spot hardcore.
Oh, yeah? Can you say exposed?
Well, no, I can't say exposed. He just botched a spot. What is that? What's there to expose in that?
Well, the bottom line is this. ECW looked phenomenal on TV because they cut the tape, and they had the benefit of being tape delayed. And perhaps TNA should look into that when a guy botches a spot as badly as AJ botched this spot. Once again, you guys can call in. I want to make this known. We didn't mention that once before. You can call in at 480-965-1260. Discuss a little TNA with us. We're going to be discussing TNA until the end of the show, as well as playing a quick interview with the one and only member of 3 Life Crew, Conan.
Great interview. You know what I think I kind of want to do?
What's that?
Why don't I bounce this off you? First, I want to make an announcement. We've decided, after a little bit of deliberation, we want to keep SmackDown on the Weekend Warriors of Wrestling over at WrestlingEpicenter.com.
Yeah.
So I definitely...
Warriors, come out and play.
I'm excited for people to go ahead and listen to their show. We're gonna abstain from SmackDown results on our show for this point at least. There's just too much for us to talk about. We got great interviews. We got the phenomenal Francine on the phone with us, and it's fun to really just sit and talk with her. You know,
she's the best.
She's awesome.
What more can you want?
Shannon.
She's gonna. Oh, I'd rather have Francine than Shannon. I'll go out and say that right now.
Either or.
I don't think either one of us is a loser, but I'd rather have Francine than Shannon.
Shannon's hot.
Shannon is hot. Francine's hotter.
Shannon's really hot, though, dude.
I gotta say Francine's much hotter.
What do you say we play about maybe 5 minutes of Conan? We'll fade it out. They can listen to the whole thing at WrestlingEpicenter.com, because we gotta come back, and we gotta talk a lot about this Bound for Glory.
Bound for Glory.
Half an hour free. The first half an hour is free.
Absolutely. Sounds like a fun idea.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm psyched for it.
Fun idea.
Hey, what do you give Impact on a scale of 1 to 10?
I gave it about a 6.
A 6.
I did not think it was as good. I think it was kind of the same, hey, look what we can do kind of thing. I think it's now time, after 3 shows previously, or 2 shows. This was the 3rd show. So 2 shows previously it could have been, look what we can do. Now it's just starting to show off like spot monkeys. And I think it's time that they backed off of that and started actually giving us some quality wrestling as well as maybe a little bit more story building. This Impact, as we're going to talk about in just a minute, the Bound for Glory card, not really built up too well.
What?
I gotta say it.
I don't agree with that. We're going to discuss more about that. Here we're going to play a little bit of Conan. We're going to play like 5 minutes of it. We have, 10 minutes queued up, but we're running out of time. So we're going to play 5 minutes of it. You can always log on to the website, WrestlingEpicenter.com. Hear the full thing in its entirety. This thing went like 30 minutes, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, and this is the 2nd time we've had Conan on in those past 2 years. It's good to talk to him. You seem to remember me. Gave me a good interview. I'm going to take full credit.
But I'll tell you what, this went in a whole different direction.
On demand, dude, on demand.
The whole different direction, did it not?
Oh, it went a whole totally different direction. We usually have a pretty retentive list of questions. This time we just kind of did it off the cuff. Hey, Conan, what you up to, brother? Good to speak with you.
Hey, here's Conan right here on the Wrestling Epicenter, only on the Blaze, 1260 AM.